Alrighty, folks, we are going to have an opportunity to get a little sneak peek behind the craziness of the life of an entrepreneur. If you are like me and all you know is being an employee, you have a schedule, you have timing, you have, your ownership of this little piece. You have any idea what the day in the life of an entrepreneur looks like where the buck stops with you? I do not. But you know what? We bring on the best of the best. And one of those is Omar Alfaro, who is an entrepreneur through and through. And I can't wait to hear about his average day, week, or month, because I bet you there's lots of ups and downs and unexpected things. So, Omar, thank you for being here.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, Michael. Our Tuesdays are always awesome, and I appreciate you always having me on.
So last week we talked about being an entrepreneur, getting started, it taking time, the buck stops with you, you're the last to get paid, but at the end of it, if you stick to it, it's kind of worth it, was kind of how I round out our conversation from last week. But what I
Yeah.
want to do this week is just give people a sneak peek to what life as an entrepreneur looks like, because I'm going to guess it's very different than what we think. So I don't know where this is going to go, but tell me about your average day, week, or month.
Yeah, so this is funny. And ideally, okay, let's just get some context in. I'm up at 5:15, probably go to bed about 11 or so. So I'm up at 5:15, do my duties, drink some bunch of water, go work out in the gym at my house, right, for convenience.
Sure.
Uh, get back in, shower, take my girl to school or preschool by 8 a.m.
Okay.
and drop her off, come back, switch cars, because we still don't have double seats in other cars, which is random. So drop off
It
the
works.
truck,
Yeah.
yeah, and then take off, get to the office by hopefully 8:45 ish, 9. And then as like today, we have a 9. We had a 9 o'clock today, 9 to 9:30. Actually, it's still going, but we have ours at 9:30, 9:30 to 10,
Right.
right? And then at 10 o'clock, we have 10 to 10:45, 10:50, which is a leadership call to get better at your skills and your and understanding more business aspect of it, right? Because I still get coached. And at 11 o'clock, we do a master class from 11 to 12:15,
Cool.
where we just discuss stuff that we do about real estate and inspire the team, educate them,
Yep.
expand their minds a little bit, and then we go into some role play. And then on at 1, so that's about 12:15. So there's a small gap that I can
Yeah.
probably go get lunch,
Sure.
or eat in between that time. Then at 1 to 2, we have another leadership call
Jeez.
with
Wow.
Pineda, um, from 1 to 2, just to obviously see what somebody else is doing that's doing it at a high level, get some nuggets, implement it in our business. Okay, and then that's it. At 2 o'clock, okay, now I can
Yeah.
start
Now you
my
can do now you can
other
do other
stuff.
stuff.
Right. And that's on Tuesday. So I can
Yeah.
start doing other stuff, which, obviously the life of an entrepreneur, these are a bunch of checks and 1099s that I have to scan. Um,
Right.
Most of the time, my assistant, who I pay about 40K, 45K a year to, takes care of it. So again, this stuff I probably shouldn't do, but check this out. I hired an assistant 3 months ago, and guess what? He lasted 3 months. He took a federal job, and I supported him. It's like, all right, cool. I trained him and everything else, right? So he left. The person that he ended up training was here for 1 week. I
Oh,
thought had good potential, and yesterday on a Monday, where it's jam packed, worse than today, he tells me, "Hey, man, I just don't really feel." And the minute I heard it, it's like, okay, cool. Well, then you know what? Give me your key. That's fine. You don't want to be in the seat, no problem. I don't want someone in the seat that doesn't
yeah.
want to be there.
Time to go.
And
Yeah.
I haven't even talked about our deals that we have. We have 7 flips going. We have 9 transactions in escrow that are representing sellers or buyers, right? Mostly sellers, right? Just regular real estate
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And we haven't even got into that yet. So I've got to jam pack everything from 2, 3, 4, 5. And then for 1 hour, I have to dictate some more of my time for our other business, which is escrow. And yeah, that's on a Tuesday. Yeah.
So sometimes, again, a lot of people glamorize life of an entrepreneur, right? You see it out there, Gary V, Cody, all these folks, Alex Ramosi talking about being an entrepreneur like it's the greatest thing. All I can hear you say and all of that, dude, this is what's going through my mind. I just got to be honest. Glad I'm an employee. Glad I'm an employee. I get to put in my 8 hours and be out, man. I'm done. I don't get to carry this stuff because you basically just for Tuesday, you're investing in the future.
Yeah.
You're investing in others. You're
Yes.
investing in yourself.
Yeah.
And you don't even get to the day to day until like 2 o'clock. And oh,
On
by the
Tuesdays,
way,
yeah.
your team around you
Assistant.
could fall. Yeah, your assistant could just, wake up one day and just not feel it. What the freaking heck does that mean?
Uh-huh.
And you've got to deal with all their work now too. The life of an entrepreneur is the buck stops with you. And
Oh,
I don't think a lot of
100%.
people realize that.
No, and it's more challenging than most think. Um, this is why you have to get really good at somewhat delegating and paying for extra help. So now I increase that assistant role more money because it costs me more money not to have someone there.
Right.
And so anybody that's out there looking that wants an executive assistant to a CEO with a bunch of companies, let me know. And
They
I
got to
have a
be, yeah,
machine
yeah. They got to be in the high desert, right? They got to be physical.
yeah, physical location in the chair, because there's a lot of stuff that
Yeah,
I won't go get into it, but yeah, I mean, there's
there's a
the
lot of stuff.
properties, there's just a lot of stuff, and it's the day to day that I used to do, and
Yeah,
my lady used to do, and she needs to be a mom to take care of our two girls, and she's pregnant, so it's like, she can't be doing that and everything else. She can't.
no,
There's no
no,
way, no way.
there's no way. There's no way.
So, so
So
yeah, that's on
again,
a Tuesday.
so the other thing that I'm hearing in this is you could go into a day with a full plan, right? Like you could wake up at your 5:15, you could hit the gym, you could take your kid to school, you could know walking into the office what your day is going to look like, and within 10 minutes, it's just all blown up. Is that fair?
Mhm. What's perfect example, Michael. Yesterday at 9 a.m., I was going to start our meeting, right? My assistant comes in at 9 a.m. He brings me a chingadera full of checks, right, that we got in the mail because he goes and gets the mail,
Yeah.
opens it up, pays the bills. So he sent me the check or he gives me this stuff, and I'm like, hey, as soon as I'm done at 9 to 9:20, which is our intentional Mondays that we do every Monday for our team on Zoom. I said I'll be right with you. I was like, all right, cool, we'll go over everything. So 9:30 comes around, I'm still doing my thing. 10 o'clock, I have another call at 10 yesterday. I walk into the room or the office and say, "Hey, I got a 10 o'clock. You see it in the schedule because he manages the schedule." So he sees it, and then he's like, "Hey, man, I just want to talk to you about something." And the minute he said that, I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to be late for my 10 because I need to address this now."
Yep.
And I addressed it now. It took about 9 minutes of a conversation. And within 9 minutes, I figured out that he wasn't the person for the role. At least I figured it out in 7 days
Yeah.
or 8 days,
Yeah.
and said, "Give me the keys," and I left, or I
Yeah.
walked him out actually. And
There
then
you go.
it was a Monday. Guess what I gave him? I gave him about 7 or 8 different tasks to take care of,
Today or Monday.
and
Yeah.
yeah, so I had to go do them all, plus add everything else. So yeah, that's immediately it blew up, and I just had to take care of it.
So again, life of an entrepreneur, lots of different business, lots of stuff going on. And we haven't even gotten to the money aspects,
No,
right? That's when people ask me why I am not an entrepreneur, I could deal with all the stuff we've talked about thus far, right? I
yeah,
kind of enjoy that chaos.
me too.
But where I fall down and I'm like, nope, that's not for me, is I know I will have to make payroll. I know that at the end of the day, if something blank happens, it ends with me. Right. I am like, I don't want to deal with that part of the equation. But so you
No.
clearly do. You have lots of folks. Just talk about that reality where the buck stops with you.
You know, taking care of payroll
Yeah.
is another avenue. Um, and you got to go create some income for these people because you're responsible for their lives.
Yeah.
You're responsible for their well-being. So you better like step up yourself and take care of you so you're able to take care of everyone else. In addition to your family, the people that you employ and that you care about as well. So that's just the one avenue. And it's like, and if something happens, well, you better rob Peter to pay Paul, and then Paul will pay for payroll.
Yeah.
And it's funny because every entrepreneur literally goes through this. Like I'm pulling money here to cover here. Boom, this escrow closed. All right, I got replenished. Let me pay back. It's movement of money 24/7.
Yeah.
Um, if you're all in and if you're flipping, obviously, because we're flippers, a lot
Yeah.
of our money is expensed in some properties.
Yeah.
Wholesaling, not so much. Obviously, that's just turn and burn, but no one tells you to go create those leads
Yeah.
on the
Marketing.
wholesale side, marketing costs, marketing fee. Um, so you better get a return on that as well. So there's just a lot of moving parts, Michael. And trust me, sometimes I tell my lady, I'm like, hey, let's just sell it all. Let's have one paid off house
Yeah.
and a crap load of money in the bank. And let me just go create a business that we don't have to be at and
Yeah.
then have it run. And not saying that's the plan because I
Yeah.
like having the assets,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
But it
sometimes
crosses your
it's
mind.
nicer. Yes, it does. It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah. That's another thing that's funny to think about as an entrepreneur is you're running essentially a funnel, right? I already admitted the thing that gets me down is the whole payroll thing,
Yeah.
but you're running a living, breathing entity that you've got to keep fed. You've got to keep marketing. Technology changes, market changes, cost change, competition change. You're never in this like stasis mode. You're always evolving and changing and tweaking. And that's got to be stressful all by itself.
It is, Michael, but there's one thing I will tell you. It keeps you sharp. It
There you
keeps you
go.
engaged. It keeps you like moving, right? Because you heard that saying, still water smells, but that
Yeah,
running waters always seems to be a little bit more fresher and
good point.
cleaner, right? Because it keeps moving. And that I think all of us, you as well, with the first book, the second book, the YouTube channel, the all of your marketing, all the things that you do it right because you said it yourself last year. You didn't do that much, and
No.
you're like, wait a minute, I feel a little
Ah,
low. I don't feel the same. I don't feel as energized. I don't feel as like conducive to what I'm used to. And
yeah.
guess what? You changed this year.
Yeah.
You're like, screw this. I'm going to do this every day. And what I'm going to do,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Exactly. It makes you feel better and you're always engaged.
No, I absolutely right. It's I'm glad you spin it that, and let's be clear. That's why I believe, according to Ed Milet, 8% of the world is an entrepreneur. 8% of the world takes my comment and says, "Yeah, that's why I'm sharp, stupid." Where 92% are like me, like, "God damn, I don't want to do that." And that's why Ed Milet says 1% of the eight, so about less than 1% of folks are successful entrepreneurs like you, right? A lot of people become entrepreneurs because they think it's easy and fun and sexy and sizzle, and there is no pain and no stress. And none of that's true. It's
None
all
of it.
chaos all the time.
You know, I don't want to say it's all chaos, but we haven't discussed, your relationship,
Oh, there you
your
go. Go for it.
significant other.
Yeah,
Like
do it.
if you don't got someone that's going to
Yeah.
support you and take care of the things at home, then
Ride or
you
die, man.
will
Ride or
you
die. Yeah.
you will either stop being the entrepreneur and confine or I'm sorry, and digress into like, okay, let me just get my 9 to 5, let me be home with the white picket fence, this, that, and the other. Or you're gonna either outgrow the person as the male, right? Or the female. The female could do
Yeah,
it
female
too.
could grow
The
too.
female
Yeah.
could
So
bounce and
yeah.
because she's so driven.
Yeah,
You
of
better
course.
catch up if you're a dude.
Yeah.
But if you're the guy, sometimes you might need to slow down a little bit to make sure she catches up so you can bring her with you.
Well, let's talk about that. How often do you let's talk about two ways. How often do you just kind of decompress with your wife and just let her know what happened in the day? Like, did you tell her yesterday about your assistant quitting? Like,
Oh yeah,
does she feel it with
within
you?
within 30 minutes, after I got into my flow, I texted her
Yeah. So and
and
so quit.
she said WTF. I'm like, what?
Ah,
Yeah,
so
exactly. So
she's in the boat.
yeah, she's in the boat. That's because then I get home and I talk about it, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Very,
definitely, I don't
very
know,
cool.
for sure.
And I'm curious, how often does something come up where you're forced to make a choice between a family commitment and this thing that happened in entrepreneur land? Like maybe it's a kid's birthday party. Maybe it's not a birthday party because a birthday party is a big deal. Maybe it's like you were going to go have a family lunch on a Sunday, but something blew up last minute and you have a choice: do it or, honey, I got to cancel and do this. How often does that stuff happen?
In that journey, it's happened a lot. Okay, it happened a lot. It's like, hey, I know the weekend's supposed to be for us, but sorry, I got to take care of more things. I got to go take care of this client, and guys, being in the real estate sales business and or hey, flipping, it's like I'll go to a seller's house on a Saturday because I know that it's worth about 30 or 40 or $50,000 down the way, right? But stack a few of those and you'll have a great, quarter or month down the way. But sometimes, yeah, I've actually, more than sometimes, I've had to make that sacrifice and go
Yeah.
take care of what we need to take care of. Most people won't do that. They think that it's just going to be happening from Monday through Friday,
Yeah.
and it does not. The weekends, literally, you have 52 weeks in a year, right? And you have a crap load of weekends,
Yeah.
involved in there too. What, 4 a month? Same, right? Those
Yeah.
Saturdays and Sundays. That's what separates you,
Yeah.
but that's what the sacrifice is going to entail. And I mean, we just got on the call. As soon as we got on the call, I know this is one big sacrifice as well, but I wasn't going to sacrifice this situation of us having a baby,
Right. Yeah, you're right.
and my lady's birthday, and I won't be speaking at the event, which bums me out, but I'll
Yeah,
have
in
something
reality,
said.
Omar, you forgot to tell people you're not invited. You're not invited. You got to stay. You got to stay. He's just not invited.
Okay.
Folks, in reality, he's of course invited. We love Omar, but his wife's pregnant. The baby's due. He's not coming. So I've told him he's not invited. So he feels better. So don't get mad at me. I love
Thank
Omar.
you.
You should know that.
Thank you.
But Omar, you're not invited. You got
All
me?
right. Yeah. So sacrificing, I mean, that's what you just got to do.
Yeah. There's just
It
some
is.
things in life are just more important. And so let's close on a positive note.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you're wired to be an entrepreneur, if you're wired for the chaos, the upside is amazing. You call your shots. It is your baby, your living entity. It does get easier over time. You've been at this for a while, but bring us home. Remind people where to follow you, and yeah, just bring us home.
Yeah. Sounds good. Well, yeah, guys. I mean, there is light at the end of the tunnel, but if you're willing to go through that dark space, the challenges, the not sure what's going to happen, not sure how you're going to make it, not sure how you're going to make payroll, not sure how you're going to pay your bills to get through this journey, get through it, just and trust that process. So that light isn't the train coming at you, it is light at the end of the tunnel. And that light will represent and create a result that you would never dream of. And it could just be something minimal, but it's still a result that you went through that process and you had to go through that process. So don't be afraid of it, embrace it, but understand one thing, that if you don't, somebody else will take your market share, whatever it is, and somebody else will do it, and they'll have that light at the end of the tunnel. You won't. You'll just live, just chill, which is okay too, with whatever you guys want. But if you're that entrepreneur and you're wired a certain way, then just know that it's going to be a challenge. But the result will happen at the end. I mean, proof is right there as well with Michael. Literally employee to retired with a crap load of doors that he just chills. He works because he wants to. Does that make sense? So guys, just, do that. And if you guys want some more information and more inspiration, education, all that good stuff, follow me on IG at Invest with Omar.
Follow him on IG, send him a note. You know what, folks? Let's be some good one rental at a time fans. Send Omar. What's your lady's first name? I forget.
Alyssa.
Do me a favor, folks. Send Alyssa and Omar some good vibes, some good messages. They are expecting their third child here in weeks. Again, Omar, you are not invited. You're not allowed to speak. You've got to stay home. I don't want any pressure on you or the lady. You're amazing, man. Take care of yourself. Thank you for telling us about the day in the life of an entrepreneur.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.